Shadowverse Worlds Beyond is getting massively review bombed on all platforms by both the Japanese and international community. But why? Is it justified? And how bad is the situation really? Disclaimer up top, I'm a longtime commentator for official Shadowverse tournaments, and I've done sponsored videos for Shadowverse before. That being said, anybody who's watched my channel for any period of time or listened to my Shadowverse podcast Evolve Point would know that I have no problem voicing my criticisms of the game. If you still think that I'm some mega turbo corpo shill, nothing I say can convince you otherwise, and you should just click off the video now. So the controversy arose because the monetization of Worlds Beyond is worse than the original Shadowverse. There are two big issues. The first being that packs in the original game cost 100 rupees, and in this game, they cost 500 rupees, which makes it seem like the price quintupled. To rub salt in the wound, the crystal price remains at 100 or 50 for the daily deal, which some see as a psychological tactic to push players into spending for the premium currency. The second is the change to the liquefy system, where you're no longer able to liquefy cards that you don't own a full playset of for vials to craft other cards. Both of these look incredibly bad on their face, and while there is merit to the negative feedback, the details actually go a bit deeper. Let's address the pack price increase first. While it's true that packs are more expensive, the amount of rewards you get from playing the game also increase. The amount of rupees you're awarded from doing daily missions is up from Shadowverse Classic, and you still get rupees from doing the story and from beating the practice mode AI, which are both free things that you can do. There's also a new source of rupees in the battle tutorials feature, where you just clear these and get a bunch of rewards. And of course, there's also Shadowverse Park and the entire event system, quest system, and in-game tournament system that rewards you stuff that didn't exist in the original game as well. Not to mention the free pack you get by logging in daily, which is also more rewarding than the daily login system from the original game. So it's actually not as bad as it seems, although it is still more expensive than the previous game. This really frustrates me because if the devs were more transparent about the changes and more clearly communicated all the ways you can earn resources in this game, the blow up wouldn't have been that bad. They also could have just kept the pack price at 100 rupees or slightly increased it to say like 200 and then simply reduced the amount of rewards you get, and it wouldn't have looked like the packs quintupled in price. The way they went about it is such bad optics, and I think it was a PR disaster that they could have easily avoided that they just walked into. Secondly, the liquefy changes. There's some defenders of this change saying that it prevents newbies from making mistakes and deleting good cards only to regret it later, but I think that's kind of a weak argument. The ecosystem for creators in this game is healthy enough, especially in Japan, that somebody online will just make a liquefy guide for every set that anybody can just look up for free for guidance. So overall, I really don't like this change because it punishes players who can evaluate the cards properly or just want to focus on one or two classes. But I have an even bigger problem with this liquefy system that a lot of people are missing in lieu of the more obvious change, and that is the nitty-gritty of how many vials you earn for the cards you liquefy. Take a look at this table here. In the OG game, you get 10 vials from liquefying a bronze, 30 for liquefying a premium, and it costs 50 to craft. The exact same in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. But the silver changes are crazy. In the base game, 50 vials for liquefying a silver, 120 for a premium, and it costs 200 to craft one. Now here, it only gets 20 vials for liquefying a silver, 50 for a premium, and it costs 90 to craft one. Oh, you might be thinking it's okay. They lowered the craft cost of silvers too, so the reduction in premium and base silver liquefies is okay. But actually, what a lot of people did in the OG game, it was very easy to get silvers, so you would just liquefy down a bunch of silvers and then craft a legendary. And notice that the legendary craft cost in both games remains the same. Same for the gold here. You get 50 less on base, you get 150 less on premium, and the craft is only reduced in price by 50. And while you do get more vials from liquefying base legendaries in the new game, of course you can't liquefy legendaries you don't have extra copies of, and because legendaries are hard to come by, this benefit is very unlikely to be reaped. So this liquefy change, I think, is the bigger offender of why it's much more difficult to get cards you need in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. Once again, especially the silvers. Going from 50 to 20 is a massive decrease and makes it much harder for free-to-play or low spenders to build up to even one legendary they want to craft. Yes, the negative feedback is warranted because it is worse than the previous game, but I do have some caveats. One, I think the negative feedback has been kind of overblown. It's currently like the second most negative game on Steam right now, which is completely unwarranted given that there's literal asset flips and like crypto scams on Steam, I'm pretty sure. And also people fighting each other really hostilely in comments and even reacting with like KYS on community manager Discord messages. That's not cool. The other caveat is that while the monetization is worse than original Shadowverse, it's actually still on par with other collectible card games out there. Hearthstone, Marvel, Snap, MTGA. I think all those still have a worse monetization system and did not get nearly this amount of negative backlash. That being said, the culture around reviews have changed a lot, and for many people, they view review bombing a game the only way to get developers to listen other than quitting the game entirely. And I understand that. I think the only sad part is that this game is fantastic and wonderful other than the monetization system. And the other sad part is if the devs ever do address this feedback, at the levels this game is getting review bombed, it will never recover. So that's my take. Let me know yours in the comments below, but be civil about it, and thank you for watching.